Boom shakalaka, what's going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love. I am joined today with Bill Noble, the Chief Technical Analyst of Token Metrics, former Goldman Sachs, former Charles Schwab, former Morningstar, and formerly worked for Charlie Shrem. So what's up, Bill?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, did I nail it all?
Wow,
Did I get
week in
everything
crypto.
there?
You got it all, man. I am ex legacy and all crypto.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about crypto. I mean, I think we're in like the best time to be in crypto right now. I'm sure everybody still has the feeling that they got in too late. Like, I know people who I introduced to crypto back in like 2018, and they're like, I wish I would have bought more back then. And I'm sure people getting in now are like, ugh, I really got in too late. I think that's how everyone feels in crypto. Is that how you feel with crypto?
You know what? That's how everybody feels in crypto. I feel like when you open a Coinbase or a Kraken account, you should get like a 10 pack of like psychotherapy coupons. We try to tell people that, you're never too early. You're not too late. You're not too early. You're right on time.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone who was like, oh my God, I missed Bitcoin. Okay. Oh my God, I missed it. And then if they had been in it 2 months, everything on Coinbase just 3x'd.
Yeah.
So, you're right on time because crypto's going mainstream. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if it's going up, people are panicking. If it's going down, people are panicking. It's the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, the good thing is, like, I think this is going to be revolutionary technology for at least the next decade. I mean, Bitcoin, who knows, for the next like 100 years, it could be crazy. Like, from MicroStrategies, Michael Saylor was saying, don't sell your Bitcoin for 100 years.
Yeah, Bitcoin is like the savings account or the college fund for your kids, right? It's like, as Saylor said, it's like the dominant network, right? But it's the first network. So you're going to have crypto is going to be like the future of money, right? That's going to be like your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, and, the subject no one wants to talk about, like Litecoin. And then you're going to have, the future of tech and banking, which is DeFi,
Mm-hmm.
but, to say that you're too late is frankly is crazy. I mean, it's just now starting to get people's attention. I'm getting phone calls like, hey, I'm on some app. What's the difference between Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash? I'm like, whoa. Or, oh my God, I just got an app and I just bought some XRB. And I'm like, okay, take a deep breath.
Oh my God. You're getting calls from people who really are buying the worst coins out there.
I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting first I was getting phone calls from like 40 and up. Then it was this is age. Then 50 and up. Now I'm getting phone calls from 60 and up.
Oh, geez.
Okay. And, this kind of FOMO, I'm like, ooh, guys wanting to do things like quit their job and go full-time degen. I'm like, oh my God, because the thing about crypto is it's got an inherent mechanism to kind of F itself in terms of going to like ridiculous extremes really quickly. All right. So yes, it's a great time to be in crypto, but I always tell everybody, you're not too late, but check yourself and don't wreck yourself.
Right. I'm actually glad you brought that up because that was something that I wanted to talk about. So Willie Woo today posted, or yesterday, that, retail FOMO is definitely here. And I remember back in 2018, the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, how retail FOMO hit, and then it was over before anybody really knew it. So what's your feeling in terms of crypto and Bitcoin right now with retail FOMO? You think this is going to be different this time around, or are we kind of like close to the end?
Okay, I don't think it's the end. The way I want to say it is like the easy money has been made, right? That's usually when retail comes in, like at the top of, in Elliott terms, like a 3-wave or a big trend, right? So like I saw, 3 tweets about positive crypto news in 1 hour from a prominent crypto hedge fund, person in crypto. And that led me to believe that he was to retail you know, because they basically made their whole year in 3 weeks.
Right.
Right. Now, one of the reasons why you know that retail FOMO is here is because if you look at every coin, I'm sure it would look great in a spreadsheet, but you know, we can just hack it out here. You look at every coin on Coinbase other than Bitcoin and ETH, and all the coins on Kraken, you know, AVAX, VChain, Bancor, right? And even some of the coins like Aave. You know, you look at all of those coins that were like anywhere from $3 to $100, and they all did a 2x, right? Like Kraken's account opening system broke because the Robinhood and the stock market and the retail and the GameStop and the pot stock FOMO all came into crypto at once. And they just mooned anything that moved. Now, as crypto people, we're super happy that people are here. By the way, hi, welcome to crypto. You know, definitely check out Token Metrics, but stay with Crypto Love for credible information sources, which, by the way, I asked for. And of course, I recommended you as one of those sources.
Dude, thank
right?
you.
But yeah, people are FOMOing in so hard. And frequently what happens with herd behavior is like the first time the herd arrives, they all buy the wrong stuff. They do the wrong trade. They should have done, you know, Bitcoin, ETH, Bitcoin Cash, maybe Litecoin, you know, and then some of the big DeFi projects. But when they moon it all, so to your earlier question, what that leads to is consolidation, right? Some people who bought here, they sell up there. The people who bought the top panic, and you get this wave. So is it over? Is it like 2017 where it goes up and then goes to zero? No. I just think that, you know, when after the easy money has been made comes the tough trade where you have to trade in a wild range. Okay. Now, what could bail us out of that is if either Bitcoin or particularly ETH could just take off. Just wrote a piece, can Ethereum save crypto? If ETH goes to 5K, I don't think anybody's really going to notice that altcoins may need to jump around. But if like, you know, Grayscale bought a bunch of ETH, and I think miners may have filled the order through the futures contract, possibly. You know, I just tweeted out ETH should have gone up by now. So for the sake of the space, I hope we get an ETH rally.
You would think. And here's the really crazy thing on that topic. So I was looking on Google Trends. And so Google Trends, you type in a keyword, it shows you like the number of people searching it. And so I did Bitcoin over the past, as long as you can do, max time limit, I think it was like 10 years, but since the beginning of Bitcoin. And basically right now we're at about halfway as many searches for Bitcoin as the peak in 2017, 2018. However, ETH is now actually higher than back in 2017, 2018. So it kind of makes me curious as to what does that actually mean? Like, is the Bitcoin pump just completely institutional and just decreased supply from that? Is ETH completely retail? You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, okay. So this is a great point. So, you know, this reminds me of when I used to work in the Chicago Board of Trade in futures when that was all done by humans. And the story that they would tell me was there were only two big futures pits, long bonds and soybeans, right? And what would happen is if there was a lot of action in bonds and nothing going on in soybeans, all the soybean traders would start running into the bond pit to trade, okay? Which was the cue to exit your position one way or the other, you know, when that FOMO would occur. So everyone feels like they missed Bitcoin. Everyone sees the price tag retail and goes, okay, I missed that. But ETH is the optics on ETH is at 1800. Okay, let me read a cool article about ETH. Oh, gee, let me get in on that. And oh, wait, there's stuff that runs on ETH like Uniswap or DeFi. There's a narrative. Yeah, because you can get that on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. Then the next thing you know,
and then there's an ETH killer that's under $1, Cardano.
Right. With BitBoy hitting the pump button on that, absolutely right. You know, and he was right. He had a great call, right? I mean, what did it do? It did it like 2 or 3x. The guy had it right. So yeah, I mean, Cardano, you know, Polkadot, you know, these are like the 5th and 6th biggest projects out there, and they don't do anything. So everyone bought all that stuff. This goes back to the whole wrong trade thing, and they kind of left ETH alone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's something that's going to happen with it. And I think maybe people are waiting for ETH 2.0. Maybe they just don't get that like all of the developers in crypto work with ETH. Like, I don't know. Maybe they just don't get that.
Yeah, or maybe they just saw Cardano at 16 cents, or they read an article about what Polkadot can do at a price tag of 25 on Kraken. And, you know, I mean, you don't need to do a lot of research in a FOMO environment, right? You just press the green button, and off it goes. I mean,
well, maybe here's a real concern, because this is something that a friend asked me the other day was, you know, with the cost of ETH transactions right now, especially with Uniswap and everything like that, is it worthwhile to hold ETH, or should you buy Cardano or Polkadot or something like that? You have any thoughts on that?
Actually, this is the question, and it's a great question. So thanks for asking it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
so gas fees. Okay. Like, what network do you want to travel on? Like, you want to travel on a network that people are validating is worth traveling on. Like, you can stay at a 5-star hotel and be really comfortable. Okay, that's the gas fees on Ethereum. Or, you know, you can stay at a $45 a night hotel and hopes no one kicks in the door. Or you can sleep under the stars in an imaginary hotel. ETH is a network that people will pay to be on. Does it get a little bit expensive? You know, does a Vegas hotel during March Madness get expensive? Super Bowl? Yeah, of course. Okay. Now, does that hurt DeFi? A little bit, but it spurs innovation, right? Like, everybody in the DeFi Uniswap universe has got to figure out, you know, how do we do this? How does ETH 2.0? High fees bring in innovation, right? So this whole thing is, oh, you know, the ETH gas fees are too high. I'm going to go buy some imaginary network. No. ETH is the dominant network. And I want to see it start going up soon, or, you know, this retail FOMO is going to end badly.
Yeah. By the way, I do like the rocket ships behind you.
Thank you. Yes, at Token Metrics, you know, it's reserved for my boss, because he's Ian Bellina. He's an elite, you know, crypto influencer. But our firm's motto is, you know, the moon is not the limit, to the moon and beyond. So he has the astronaut theme for his YouTube. And I decided to go with the rockets, which is part of our logo. So, awesome. You know, we got AI, machine learning, and we actually just put our money where our mouth is and put part of our treasury into one of our indexes, our long-term indexes. So, you know.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because I've been using Token Metrics for almost a whole year now. And it's done exceptionally well during alt seasons. Like, when Bitcoin was just taking off and alts weren't moving, wasn't seeing as great. But when alts are doing stuff like they're doing now, like, Token Metrics has been insane. So the question is, like, how do people best use Token Metrics to make the most from it?
Okay, so great question. So obviously, you know, when we're in alt overdrive, our rankings page is the most useful, right? Because we can use the AI and the machine learning to filter out the next synthetics or the next graph, et cetera, right? So when the market's hot, it's our ratings. Now, when the market is even, or when Bitcoin is dominating, our indices page, right? Because we have indices for various exchanges. So if you're only on Coinbase, you can say, all right, I want to see a grouping of 10 coins for a month. Okay. And you can invest And you might, you know, the AI will, if you're on Coinbase or Kraken, it'll pick up Bitcoin or ETH most likely as an allocation, right? So you'll be able to discern, like when Bitcoin is moving, how to get on Bitcoin and related coins through the indices. But when, you know, it's FOMO, degen, alt season, the ratings page helps.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. And what about the different time profiles there? Because I noticed there's one of the things that I've found, I guess there's so many different options because you have both trader and investor, and then you have like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. How do you use that?
Okay. So we're finding that things like quarterly and yearly are catching like undervalued long-term buying opportunities, right? So when those rankings get high, like they did with synthetics and the graph, and I believe we also caught Elrond, right? The longer term horizon scores are picking up on stuff that's like way undervalued, okay? That you could maybe get in on. And, you know, if you bought synthetics at 4 and it goes to 26, you can ride out the correction to 18 as an example, right? Now, the shorter term stuff, you know, really that's for fast money, right? Daily, weekly, maybe monthly. You know, if you're trying to figure out like what's going to moon that day or that week, and you just want to see what the AI is spitting out, you know, you have to add your own research to the short-term stuff, right? So, you know, if a guy like Crypto Love is talking about a coin and that coin happens to show up in our monthly rankings as, I don't know, like number 5 or number 10, you go, hey, check it out. A human and a computer came to a similar conclusion. Now,
how do you know I'm not a computer?
Right. You're not a computer, and our computer and our machine learning doesn't cook breakfast for you, but it can help you filter through the noise.
So that's cool. That's actually good. So like basically people looking for hidden gems can go on the longer term thing. I didn't know about that strategy, so I'm going to start looking for that. That's awesome. And for you guys who want to get a discount on Token Metrics, you can check out the link down in the pinned comments and probably in the description too. We'll put that. So yeah. So crypto is pretty rad right now.
Yes.
And what, I mean, I think like everyone is trying to find out what it's going to go to. Everybody wants to know where and when is the top. Exactly, Bill. If you could tell us the exact day and down to about $10.
Okay. So, you know, believe it or not, my father was a stockbroker from the bottom in 1974 to the top in 2000. And he had a motto. He said, when everybody says, when do I sell? Buy. And when everybody says, when do I buy? Sell. So when everyone's talking is, oh, this is a bubble. Oh, when is it over? Oh, how much more time have we got on alt season? You know what? Trends last longer than you think. Okay. Now, clearly we've had some excess. Clearly small alts need ETH to rally to kind of bail them out from what I think could be a hefty correction. But if everyone's asking, is it over? Of course, it's definitely not over, right? Mm-hmm. It's only over when, you know, you've got guys with Bitcoin Christmas sweaters on the front page of the New York Times, like 2017, like everyone's getting rich and you're not.
Right.
Right. So as long as they're asking, is it over? It's not over. Mm-hmm. Now, what bull markets do to people, you know, bull markets, you know, everyone knows, oh God, bear markets really hurt people. Yeah, but bull markets can F people too, right? Like they took off faster than you thought. Everyone bought the top. And now they're probably going to shake the tree on the small alts, right? You're going to get seasick. And we haven't seen a seasick correction yet, right? Where everyone FOMOs into the top, then it goes down. Everyone says it's the repeat of 2018, which is wrong. And then it goes back up. And everyone FOMOs in there, right? And we do this over and over again. until people, get seasick, vomit, and then rage quit. And then it goes up again. Right. So
I love the rage quit analogy.
Right. Because ranges can make people rage quit, especially if you think about the setup, right? I mean, guys who were long were afraid to sell. No joke. Like a person who I really respect, who was smart, said, I'm literally afraid to sell based on the way this thing was traded, which is the opposite of 2018, right? Where everyone was like, oh my God, ETH at 80, I can't touch it. It's going to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the FOMO was so intense. And like you said earlier, oh my God, I got here too late. I got to get involved. People, please, 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 please. You don't want to buy the top and then sell the bottom and wind up rage quitting in 3 months when crypto is the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like in crypto, once people join crypto, even they're from legacy, their attention span goes like this. Right? Everybody's attention span in crypto gets negative. Legacy has negative rates. Crypto has negative attention span. Right? Long term is, I don't know, a 4-hour chart. That's long term.
Exactly.
So you're here. It's the future, meaning not next week when you have to go to the bar and listen to your buddy talk about how he bought Bancor and 3X or AVAX. Long term is in like your kids or, long time. So you got here. Welcome. Check out Crypto Love, hit the token metrics link, but above all, don't wreck yourself, because in crypto, the most important things you can have are capital to trade with and, your mind, your sanity. So we're doing, part crypto therapy today.
That's good. That's good. I like the advice because it is important. Like, you have to learn lessons in crypto. I think anyone in crypto has learned lessons, has lost money. But the thing is, as long as you don't get wrecked, you're around it before a lot of other people get in. And like, everybody has that type of thing. So,
right.
Yeah. So one thing that I did find really interesting. So you were talking about how ETH hasn't taken off yet. I actually found it really interesting that Bitcoin didn't really, it went up like $5,000 after Elon Musk said that he's adding it to the balance sheet. Right. I was actually totally shocked that it only went up $5,000.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Very interesting, very, very good question. Okay, so Elon Musk comes in, FOMO's in hard. Meanwhile, Michael Saylor is holding a conference where every CEO, from here to there is attending about buying Bitcoin. I would have been happier if nobody showed up at Michael Saylor's conference. Not because I'm dissing Michael Saylor, it's just because it's indicative of massive FOMO, right? So when Elon Musk comes in, now again, Wall Street legacy tortured this guy 3-4 years. Everyone forgets this, right? Everyone sees Tesla mooning and SpaceX, and this guy's a mega celebrity. Everybody forgets 5 years ago that he was literally fighting short sellers on Twitter when Tesla was trading at $300 because all the short sellers were betting it was going to go to 0 because he couldn't turn a profit. So Elon Musk, deep down inside, won't miss a chance of a lifetime to thumb his nose at the legacy system, all the way from the government that busted him for saying the wrong thing, right? I mean, he did get tapped on the shoulder by the SEC, to all the investment banks that said, yeah, this is the worst rated stock ever. So of course, when he saw GameStop and Dogecoin, he couldn't resist. And then once he got on Dogecoin, right? I mean, once you go to Dogecoin, right? Once you get a taste, then he had to come in with the balance sheet. Now, when Musk came in with the balance sheet, as much as you loved it, as much as I loved it, and the cryptoverse loved it, okay, Tesla's stock didn't move. Tesla's stock went down. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be so unpopular. Because guess what, folks? When you're a CEO of a big tech company, you know, you can barely fit through the door. Your ego is that big, right? For good reason. I mean, you got to the head of a big tech company, you know, you've got a gazillion dollars, of course, right? Now, let me ask you something. If you were the CEO of a big Silicon Valley company, do you want to be seen as the guy that had a FOMO in right after Elon Musk? You know, following Michael Saylor, who was kind of like a, you know, a crypto philosopher is one thing. But, you know, do you want to be the cheap sequel to Musk and FOMO in? No. They're like, you know what? If Bitcoin's going to 250,000, we'll wait for Musk to go to a new topic on Twitter, and then we'll talk about it, or we'll do it quietly. Okay. Because when Musk came in, Tesla stock slumped. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, based on stuff that was shipped to an exchange, that miners filled Elon Musk. So one of the things that I was wondering about Bitcoin is, you know, market makers on the OTC side, they're living in fear of not only Michael Saylor, but the Apples and all these guys that are out there. Like, think about it, right? If you have to give someone a price or you have to fill an order for billions of dollars worth of this stuff, those market makers now have a huge incentive, especially since Elon couldn't move the market, to just hammer this thing lower. Like, remember how, you know, it went to 40 and the next thing you knew it was at 30? The same thing could happen, right? That's why I want ETH to go up so bad. I want ETH to start leading, because if ETH doesn't lead, they're going to smash this so that they can, you know, reel in whatever they can for when the next big guy comes in.
That's a good point.
You know, Elon created so much FOMO, right? But that was fun. But like I said earlier, crypto has this unique ability as a market to F itself. And Elon, we love you, but he may have F'd the market short term in the sense that he created huge FOMO, and that FOMO may have to be, you know, wound out or corrected out before it can go up again.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's good analysis. So I was thinking about this whole thing with like Bitcoin on the Tesla balance sheet now. So like this kind of gives people access to buy two of the hottest things at once. Like, you buy Tesla stock now and you basically own Tesla and Bitcoin. So you can go around telling people you own Tesla and Bitcoin. But another thing that I was thinking about is it's like a crazy way to, in the long term, be able to buy Tesla at a discount. Because here's the thing. Since Bitcoin's on Tesla's balance sheet, if Bitcoin has like a bad quarter, that's going to make it look like Tesla had a bad quarter. And people who don't realize that Tesla's balance sheet is now affected by Bitcoin will see the price of Tesla going down and they'll start selling. And so then if you know that Bitcoin went down and that's the reason for Tesla's bad quarter, then you can buy Tesla at an amazing discount and probably like do a lot better.
Right. I mean, I saw one thing, I couldn't confirm it, but I heard one thing, that at the top of the recent Bitcoin rally, that Musk made more money trading Bitcoin than he ever had selling cars. That's how outsized his profit was. Okay?
Oh my gosh. That's
now,
awesome.
I know you have a big long-term target for Bitcoin. I think going forward, and this is Michael Saylor's play, and he's going to go down in history as a genius for figuring this out, that going forward, the only way that you're going to be able to actually buy billions of dollars in Bitcoin is to take over a publicly traded company that has billions of dollars of it on its balance sheet. Okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. Bitcoin goes down, Tesla goes down. Okay. Tesla might be at a discount. Same thing with any of these other companies that make huge bets. I mean, MicroStrategy is a mid-cap computer company that turned itself into a Bitcoin ETF. So, right. I mean, that's effectively what he did. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, you're going to have to buy my mid-sized computer company at an absurd multiple. Because after all, a CEO's job is to create shareholder value.
Oh man, that's
now,
awesome.
again, with Tesla, you got to remember that stock, they're not the value of that stock and the desire for people to own it. It's like they want a piece of the future of cars, green energy, space travel. So Tesla stock in many ways is like crypto, right? It's not like Coca-Cola where we sit around and do the math on dividends and earnings. And no, Tesla stock has its own FOMO component to it. So in a sense, Musk double FOMO'd his company. He double FOMO'd it. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that stock. Like Michael Saylor's average price is, I don't know, maybe it's, 30K. I'm not sure if Musk will be able to answer his Twitter or press releases if he start taking any heat on these positions. This is something else that no one's talked about, right? Like Saylor's been aping in like a monster all the way up. So he's got the trade right, but sort of wondering what theoretically can happen when one of these 800-pound gorillas has to take a little heat on the trade.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've been talking about kind of the way out is for ETH to take off. How do you see that happening other than every person just market buying ETH?
Okay, so that's a good question. So, I think what's required to save the altcoin universe like today when we're making this video is we need an institution to come in either through the ETH futures contract. In other words, someone other than Grayscale or a trust and say, okay, we like Bitcoin. All right. We like crypto, but we need somebody big to start validating the fact that ETH is both money. Because remember, the SEC said it's not a security. You can buy stuff with ETH, as you know. So it's money and a tech platform. And we need not only an institution to validate that we're buying money and a network, but that message, like the way Saylor did it, where he got the message out about Bitcoin, Ethereum needs messaging, not Google searches. Now, again, a bunch of people just FOMO'd into all the altcoins on Coinbase and Kraken. And I don't know if they can be saved from a 25% or 40% correction. Certainly ETH going to 2,500 would stop that. And ETH should be at 2,500. I mean, if Bitcoin is at 60K, realistically, ETH should be at 5,000. And the only way that's going to happen is if the institutions not only come in, but they sort of broadcast the story. If you listen to Ian Bellina, my boss at Tokenmetrics, the way he talks about ETH it needs to be how the mainstream talks about ETH, not, oh, gee, it looks much cheaper than Bitcoin. Oh, let me Google search it and FOMO. Right.
Gotcha.
We need the smart money.
So almost what you're saying is if we had a company come and add ETH to its books.
Yes.
That would be cool.
That would.
So what company would that be? What's the coolest company out there? I mean, Google, I guess. They're kind of cool.
The company, the coolest company. Well, let's talk about maybe
Beats by Dre.
Well, possibly. I mean, in other words, if people used to wait in line to buy an iPhone, Apple could make themselves really cool by buying a bunch of ETH and then having a fancy ETH wallet and the ability to buy Apple products with ETH. That kind of makes sense to me.
Dude, that would be incredible. That would send it astronomically.
Right. Now, I think I remember, again, not in front of Google right now, but I'm pretty sure Samsung phones came out a while ago with an ETH wallet functionality. So you got to watch out, like, Silicon Valley, they got competitors, right? You got to watch out for your Baidus and all these, guys in China, Tencent, these guys who have WeChat. I know the Chinese want to issue their own currency, but you got to watch out for somebody in a big foreign country, or I've got an actual radical theory of a central bank coming in and buying ETH.
That was exactly what I was about to ask you next, because there's a lot of talk about CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, speculation, good, bad, ugly, whatever it may be. So what's your feeling on that?
Okay. So, central banks are stuck with Bitcoin thanks to Mr. Saylor, right? If it's on corporate balance sheets, this is the plus of Elon Musk, right? If it's going on corporate balance sheets and PayPal's doing it, they can pretty much shut up about Bitcoin. They got nothing to say. Central banks are most likely going to partner with existing blockchains, which could be the future of Cardano, EOS, Tezos. Tezos is a dark horse for the digital euro, as I understand it, right? That's the chatter. But emphasis on dark horse, because when I saw it mooning, Tezos started mooning prior to the G7 meeting. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because I don't know if these governments are going to build their own blockchains or just partner with a blockchain whose strategy 4 years ago was build it and they will come. But they actually may be coming to build their own, sovereign coin or a test net for it. Now, the real question with central banks is, this is the sit up and take notice, is how do central banks feel about DeFi, right? We're talking about tornado cash. So, they already got Monero and, everyone's all wound up, IRS offering money to hack, Monero, and then Tornado Cash and privacy appears in DeFi. Now, I know Tornado Cash is hot. I get it. But this goes back to crypto's ability to F itself, right? You got privacy, you got DeFi, which is pretty clean, nice concept, but now you're adding privacy and invisibility to it. Oh, Jesus. Regulators are going to lose their minds. Okay. Now, how does a regulator or how does a central bank get involved in DeFi? How do they do it? They can't just come in and control it. They can't push it around. So how do they do it? Well, the first thing they got to do is they got to own the network that DeFi travels on. ETH is going to be like proof of stake. So if you got the ability to print trillions of dollars, right? I mean, the whole cryptocurrency market is worth 1.5 trillion. The Fed printed 2.6 in March of last year. So if central banks want to get involved in DeFi, they're like, oh, the dominant network in DeFi? Oh, I'll take 500 billion of that. Oh, that for the Fed and ECB? Oh, you need 500 billion too? Oh, okay, yeah. We'll take some of that. So we'll get involved in that network, right? Because governance is involved. And then, since I'm from Token Metrics, and since I do know everyone just FOMO'd into altcoins, I got to give them some love, right? So how do you give altcoins some love after massive FOMO? Well, here's the deal, folks. When central banks come in, they're going to want to own governance tokens, right? Because everyone right now is like, oh, well, why do I want to own a governance token? It's just, it's kind of like it's a concept coin, right? Wait a minute. If you own a governance token, you own enough of it, you got some kind of measure of control, right? So these guys with the money printing machine are like, oh, well, we'd like to get some visibility on Uniswap, or we'd like to say, have a say at what goes on Uniswap or SUSHI swap or whatever. So let's just buy the governance token. This is the government, right?
Now,
they're going to have to put it on their balance sheet. Which governance
tokens are you talking about?
Well, I don't know, like I was thinking like Uni or Sushi, just as an example.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Your standard DeFi governance tokens, right? And if they wanted to have a measure of control, rather than try to regulate it or say bad things about it to try to make it go down, which could backfire in the environment that we're in now, they may come in and say, okay, we'll play too. We just, we'll get involved in governance, or we'll get involved in the network, right? It's kind of like older people a long time ago had to face the fact that if they wanted to communicate with their children, they had to get Facebook. They had to learn how to text. They had to get on Instagram. If you wanted to see a picture of your granddaughter in 2004, you had to get on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to talk to your 16-year-old child in 2009, you had to have an iPhone and you had to text.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll see it holiday time. But now, if you want to have a say at how the financial system works, you can't just be a big bully, but you can print $1 trillion and come in and start buying stuff and be like, okay, proof of stake. Here's my stake. Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why massively higher ETH prices make sense. And yeah, it does make sense that, the Polkadots and the Cardanos of the world and these alternative DeFi highways, that's why they're priced the way they are. Mm-hmm. Because, there's going to be, there's more than one way to get into Manhattan, right? There's, the George Washington Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel, the Holland Tunnel. You can take the ferry, you can take a helicopter. There's going to be more than one DeFi highway.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch out when those central banks want to have say. They could say something negative, they could regulate, but 5 years down the road or sooner, they could just, like a poker game, they could just buy in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the question, because it's always helpful to kind of think ahead. So we have the government who's going to be coming in, and they're going to be buying up everything. And so when that happens, that's going to make those of us who are already in a pretty penny, most likely. But then at that point, what becomes the play? Because right now, at least to me, it seems like the play is to be in cryptocurrency, because these are hedges against the massive inflation that's going on, especially Bitcoin. So what do you think the play is going to be at that point?
Listen, this is so unpredictable. If governments got involved in crypto, they could scare everybody. You don't know what kind of tactics they could use, right? If you're talking about a world where ETH is at 10,000 and Bitcoin's at 250K, is retail going to look at these numbers and go, oh my God, but I'm sure at that point, high prices and bubbles, Vitalik said this in 2017. He's like, is ETH a bubble? Sure. He just got on camera and said, it's a bubble. But bubbles bring in innovation, right? So if governments bid it up to where it's all insane, then that will create a huge incentive to innovate, right? I remember back when DeFi started in August, it was like, ooh, there's 9 billion locked up in DeFi. The Fed printed $85 billion a month for years. 9 billion, it's like a toothpick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have massively higher prices because all this printed money finds its way in crypto, there will be innovations. Yeah, it'll start out as degen, as all innovation does, but then something will rise up where, the common man or woman can still get involved, right? Because everybody will participate in a decentralized world. Yeah. Now, if governments somehow, I don't know, if they somehow ape in, or if big countries start outlawing it, playing this financial crime thing, or if they just panic and realize they're losing control over like dollar interest rates, right? Like the Fed can set interest rates at a certain level, and then you can go in DeFi and get 3% on a US dollar stablecoin. Yeah,
dude, you could get much higher than that. You could, on like custodial stuff like Celsius, you can get 13% on stable coins. That's like insane.
Right. The decentral now, there's only 35 billion locked up in DeFi. So, and the government currently has much bigger problems. So I don't think they're laying awake at night, trying to come after a $35 billion sector.
Yeah, they own the printing presses. They don't worry.
Right. But if they push it too far with turning DeFi from a decentralized financial system for the people into, a hidden way for criminals to do their thing, like I said, just, it's like I tell people not to F themselves and I almost make this vain appeal to the crypto market. You know, it's such an innovative space, but please don't blow it up. Please don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't build the thing that brings in the long arm of the law.
Yeah, definitely. And for a lot of people, that's going to be paying taxes. You know, the one good thing about paying taxes on it, I'll say this, is that pretty much every currency historically has actually become validated once you can pay taxes with it. So like we're getting to the point where they're just going to start accepting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for taxes. Once that happens, it's really legitimized.
Yeah, I mean, the state of Florida is trying to do it, I think. You know, US states want to accept payments in Bitcoin. They want to pay employees in Bitcoin because, again, government workers, I mean, you know, the inflation rate, they say it's 4%. At the grocery store, it's probably more like 40. Honestly,
yeah, really?
It's 40%.
Yeah.
Right. I got a friend who's got a modest grocery bill. Her grocery bill goes up like 5 to 10% every week.
Jeez.
Okay.
That's
so,
crazy.
You know, the consumer has to protect themselves against, you know, massive inflation. And the only way to do that is through crypto.
Amen. So we talked about a whole bunch of cool stuff. I think we had a lot of fun. Anything else that you think people should know about out there? Because you're like a wise man. Seems like you know what's going on. So like anything else that we didn't touch on that people should really know about?
All right. Well, I think one thing you have to recognize is, you know, I'm not a doctor, and I know in crypto it's kind of party all the time, but you do have to pay attention to what's going on with the virus, right? So like, for example, if the vaccine works, right, what exactly would be the rationale for the Fed to continue to print indefinitely? If the vaccine actually works and this pandemic goes to something moderate and we're not losing $700,000 people last week applied for initial unemployment claims. That's last week alone. So you got to keep track of those statistics, because if, you know, layoffs stopped and hiring started, less money may need to be printed. Now, conversely, you know, all the media is keeping it all clean now. They're calling it the variant. Okay? So if the bug gets worse or the vaccine, you know, isn't the end all, they may have to step on the accelerator, right? If the Fed has to step on the accelerator because this becomes the zombie apocalypse, you know, these guys with 6-figure Bitcoin targets, that's how you get there. So yeah, you have to do your research in crypto, but you know, you got to pay attention to what's going on with the bug, because the bug drives the printing press. The printing press is not running by itself. It's running because of the bug. So, you know, party on in crypto, take your money, enjoy your life. If you made money on this, congratulations. If you haven't made money on this, congratulations. You got here just in time for the future. All right. Just be mindful of world events.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, Bill, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I think before we go, we owe to everybody to just, well, first, thanks to Token Metrics, because I know that I've picked a lot of winners from just using that system. And you shared some secrets here today for how to pick some absolute gems that I'm going to be taking advantage of. So anything else that people should know about Token Metrics before going? I mean, I think that one thing that everybody should know about Token Metrics is this is based off of a system that somebody used to turn $20,000 into $5 million last bull run. So like, I think that's definitely worth noting.
Right. Yeah. My boss he used IBM Watson to pick his March Madness bracket. Right. We have some crazy smart people. So, you know, when it comes to Token Metrics, the thing that you should know is that we're trying to bring the type of math and tools that big hedge funds use to Crypto Love's audience, all you good people out there. you know, we want to give you the edge to beat the bigger guy. So, you know, if you want to push back against the man, you know, click the link down below, stay with Crypto Love and come visit us. You know, you'll have the video analysis and you'll have that human touch. And then you'll have that mathematical tool set, you know, kind of like a ninja throwing star that you can pull out to hit the target.
Absolutely. Yeah. So also you guys, you can subscribe to the Token Metrics YouTube channel because you guys have, I think, weekly or even more often content than that. That's really helpful for using the system. So
right. We've got a Sunday live stream that we do at 6 Eastern. So come check us out on that.
All right. I'll make sure to publish this one before that so people can watch this and then watch that. Awesome. Well, right. Bill, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on the show.
Peace.